what happened over there? Hello everyone, welcome. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're here live off of Dupont Avenue and Dowling on the north side of Minneapolis. Federal agents have fatally shot a person earlier today. Reportedly on the street, his name is Kevin Yang, 27. Supposedly, reportedly, allegedly, Kevin Yang was streaming some kind of barricaded supposedly was hours inside this home where this armored vehicle is, and barricaded inside there, supposedly streaming to certain social media platforms. Came out around 12 or 1 o'clock today and supposedly had a shotgun in his hand and was shot by federal agents as he came out of his house. It's the scene right now. I'm gonna walk by you real quick.
No, you're not allowed.
I didn't know if you were about to go on or what. So from over here you can see a little bit more of the federal agents. Supposedly under this tarp tent, they're looking at different evidence that they pulled out of the house, evidently. As you see some of the feds talking. The streets are blocked off. There's a small crowd. The crowd has died down a bit. I'll give you a view of the crowd. So essentially, the scene is just like an active crime scene being investigated. Not much else is happening. We will have some pictures later on from the front step of the house where blood is visible. You can sort of see it on the stairs there. I won't be able to get you a good zoom in, but you can see a little bit. All right, it was good to see you.
Good to see you.
Keep in contact. I'll hit you in a bit.
Okay.
All right. So again, we're here off of Dupont and Dowling on the north side. This happened about 4 hours ago. There's other reports from this area and from this incident that the person Kevin Yang, or the person who might not be Kevin Yang, the person that was killed by the feds, had a girlfriend, came out of the house with the girlfriend, and she evidently witnessed the killing, saw the killing, and was screaming immediately afterwards. Benjamin Bump, who we've interviewed, but he had to leave. We'll have an interview of Benjamin Bump a little bit later. Benjamin filmed the shooting from about where those two people are just shaking hands a minute ago, those two press people. Filmed the shooting, saw the federal agents shoot at least 3 shots towards the suspect, and then them doing CPR on the suspect. After the CPR, this truck, the armored truck, you see where the orange cone is, that's where a white Suburban was, and it pulled up in front of the victim who was laying on the ground getting CPR. That happened earlier. I believe that some of that white sheet is part of the scene where the medics were trying to do things to potentially revive Mr. Yang, if that's who the victim is in this case. A lot of the stuff is still unverified, and I'm right now currently in the street and not on the internet to see other pieces of information. We will be publishing more information as we get it as well through unicornriot.ninja. Is our website. So, federal agents have killed a young man on the north side of Minneapolis, which means, if you look at their track record of federal killings in Minneapolis in the last 2 years, of killing Winston Smith, We will likely not know the killers' names unless they mistakenly unredact them in the BCA report like they did last time with Winston Smith. And we were looking at probably a 6 to 12 month investigation where it'll be probably handed over to a different agency. You see the feds talking right there. So not much to report at this moment besides that there was a federal besides that there was a man killed by federal agents here on the north side of Minneapolis about 5 hours ago, 12 or 1 p.m. It was filmed, Benjamin Bump, on Facebook. I believe we might have an article up already with that embedded into our site, so you could watch that at unicornride.ninja, if not already, very soon. So the police have blocked off numerous blocks. Earlier on the scene, the police chief, O'Hara, was here, along with the sheriff, the head sheriff, Dewana Witt. They were talking. Supposedly O'Hara, the Minneapolis police chief, confirmed that it was federal agents, not Minneapolis police, that shot and killed the young man. Supposedly this young man was being investigated for something that happened last year. That is just hearsay. We do not know. One thing we do know, the girlfriend of this young man is potentially related to Billy Hughes. Billy Hughes was killed by the St. Paul police a couple, 3 years ago. We have some coverage of that as well. The girlfriend also, besides being the cousin of Billy Hughes, has essentially been arrested or being questioned right now. Some folks are thinking that they are in North Memorial or in a hospital while also getting questioned. Other people are very worried because they cannot find them. The mother of the woman has been searching and coming now down from where she lives to come and search for her daughter. So again, that person was with the person who was shot and killed. I believe they were unarmed. And I believe that they did not pose a threat specifically to the police, from my understanding. Again, it's this gray house. When the police entered and breached the house, they used a flashbang of sorts, tear gas, or just a regular flashbang concussion grenade. So it's really not much to report again. We do have a video that we will be uploading soon to the internet of the person who recorded the killing. We'll probably pair that with some of the shooting video that he recorded. There was a couple other folks that were up here, other independent media that were up here at the same time, afterwards, and they were also trying to film different spots. One of them being King Demetrius Pendleton. He was filming a few different spots, so you can check that out at Facebook. There was Black Lives Matter Minnesota that was streaming as well. So if you want to see some of the instances or some of what was happening at this incident from beforehand, you can check it out. Thank you. Excuse me.
If I get assaulted and you watched it, you don't, what? You didn't say anything? Can I show you? What's that?
So again, there's just a small group of community members here, concerned community members, Some of the sort of the gaggle of press. Probably the 5 p.m. news is going to be starting very soon. Or 6 p.m. news, excuse me. All right. We got the article up on our website, unicornride.ninja, and thanks Chris for running the back end on this as well. We had some technical issues that we worked through, and we were able to come live. So thank you all for tuning in. Again, we're just gonna show you sort of what's happening over here. We don't have too much to report on, but this is the scene. From the scene, you can see federal agents in the background. They have that tent. That tent is supposedly filled with some type of evidence underneath inside the tent. This is a multi-agency effort, supposedly. That is a Hennepin County Sheriff armored vehicle. Those are feds that are walking in the distance, and the feds that were the shooters. And Minneapolis police have also been on the scene. But right now, Minneapolis police are not the ones that are sort of protecting the scene. It is the Hennepin County Sheriffs. So there was two armored vehicles earlier today. I think there was one in the alley and there was one on this side. This side, they've left that one in the street. They've taken out other cars that were involved, and they've moved a lot of the vehicles away. I believe they took the victim of the shooting, of the police killing. I believe they took him pretty quickly into an ambulance, probably not quickly. They shot him, and then they took, a couple minutes, and then they started CPR, and then they cleared the house, and then they allowed the ambulance to come. From my interpretation, it took like several minutes, maybe up to 5. From what I've heard is that the victim has been verified as deceased, killed by a federal agent here on the north side of Minneapolis.
By the police department. Literally, we have 400 people murdered by the police department since 2000. No investigation. This is the reality. Tracy, I'm not sure you guys this video. Thank you.
So again, that's one of the vehicles that they used for this incident. There was multiple police vehicles used. And I think the Suburban was probably a federal Suburban with federal agents when the shooting happened. So again, there is some blood visible on the stairs from the man who was shot. Apologies, with this camera we're not going to be able to focus on it very clearly, but we'll have some images of this up on our website a little bit later tonight.
And I'm going to be doing it in Hennepin County. And guess what we're going to say? Officers like Lindstrom and Olsen, we need to get these guys off. Get that, pull you to it, or pull the camera, is the angle of the car. Didn't say Hennepin County did
That's
serve.
37th Avenue down to where they're walking.
I'll just ask for 100.
37th and Dupont.
They'll settle in court. And we're on to the next.
that he was with, potentially his girlfriend. Again, there's social media video of himself streaming some of this incident, from my understanding. I have not seen that. But this is the scene right here. The police then breached the house after the shot. I believe after that they cleared the house, and then they allowed ambulance to come. I think the person was deceased on the scene. You could see the federal agents doing CPR, and it seems like, you know, they just continue to do it. So it seemed like they might have killed the person on site. There was 3 shots. They were all very quiet shots. They sounded almost like a beanbag or a stun gun, 40 millimeter marker round, but evidently they were live bullets. We do not know, we may not know who fired them and what make of weapon were fired to kill. Who we've here is a young man by the name of Kevin Yang, a 27-year-old man. This tent, a kid just said, damn, that shit's loud. And he's talking about this big trailer that was getting carted down the street. We have this tent here. Supposedly, there's evidence under the tent that was taken out of this house. Supposedly, also, this person was being investigated for something that happened last year, from my understanding. So again, this is the scene we have here on the north side. Just a small crowd out here, sort of looking and checking it out, seeing what's happening. We'll try to talk to some folks in a minute, and we'll probably try to get the stream down after that. But again, we just wanted to bring you a live update from the north side of Minneapolis, where federal agents have shot and killed a young man. I will go live, attempt to speak to folks, so excuse the maneuverings and potential camera movement that will not be the best. I'm gonna wait for a couple of these cars to go by. It's now, people are getting off and so off of work, and some people are just sort of gawking at it, seeing what's happening. I'm live right now. Anybody want to talk? You want to talk at all? Anybody want to talk? I'm live right now.
Man, I'll talk.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, you can hold this if you want.
Hold on. What are you live on?
I'm live. Unicorn Riot. Yep. Is that okay? You ready? You okay
What's
to be
Unicorn
video?
Riot? That never
No, we're
gonna
good.
stop me. Oh, yeah.
Word. I will not get you on camera. I got you. So yeah, you want to talk? You want to talk? You okay?
Can I just say we was passing by?
Yeah, no. Hey, and you can just do audio if you want. You don't even have to do video. You're ready for? Okay.
Can I just say we passed by?
Yeah. What did you see?
I just passed by and I see a homicide. Whew. I never seen nothing like this in my life. I just went to go pick up my son and roll past, and there's a homicide going on. Just trying to stay out of harm's way. That's it.
How does it make you feel?
I'm a little bothered because I ain't never seen nothing like it before. It's kind of shocking to me. Other than, I'm just passing by.
Does it make you feel more shocked or more frightened that it was federal agents that shot a young man?
I didn't know really what happened until I went on my phone and seen the whole crime scene. Other than, it's very shocking.
Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What channel that's going to be on?
I'll give you one of my cards. It's up on unicornriot.ninja. Nah, we ain't got TV. We're on the internet.
On the internet.
Yeah. So we got a YouTube.
How am I going to see it?
We got a YouTube and we got a Facebook. You go to our website, uberride.ninja, and you'll see the post. And then from there you can see it. Hey, you want to talk about it? Yeah, okay. All right, we got another person who will do an interview in a moment. That was just a concerned passerby you heard from. Here goes the fire truck. So it's a pretty dreary day. Weather-wise, it's not a lot of sun. There has been a lot of rain, small drops of rain happening. There's a small crowd that has gathered throughout the day. 15. There's no way. People, anybody who's watching the riot, they're dope if they're watching us, so you won't be. But, yeah, if I do end up putting music on video, you'll watch more shows. We're going to wait for an interview. Just give me a few moments. We'll talk to another community member here. Again, this federal agents have killed a young man by the name of Kevin Yang on the north side of Minneapolis.
He's on camera saying, who's saying the wrong thing? Right here. Who's spreading white supremacy? What did you talk about? Yeah, this buddy right here. I got the video. This buddy with the shotgun right here. He like, y'all come in here, I'm gonna blow you down here. Shotgun right here. He's right here. That's why I'm trying to tell the two Latinos or the one native girl, the other girl, you ain't gotta be mad about it. This ain't spreading white supremacy. The man
Yeah, you done?
on the field talking
All right.
about, I'm finna get killed.
You could just, we're live right now.
Great.
You down do video or you just audio?
No, I'll just do audio.
All right, perfect. Yeah. Talk about what you're seeing here and what your thoughts are right now.
Yeah, it's really, really tragic that all of these forces have to come together again because of another unjust killing in our city. We've seen this for years. From Jamar Clark, Fong Lee, Terrence Franklin, Abuka Sanders, George Floyd, Dalal Eid. We just hear there are too many stories from this city about the brutality and the racism of the Minneapolis Police Department. I think this calls into question the use of these joint task forces, in particular the fact that federal agents don't wear body cameras, and the Minneapolis Police Department has said that they will not take part in operations where they're not allowed to wear their body cams. But what we're hearing from the chief now is that they were all too far away to have caught anything real on camera. I just think this police department has been out of control for a long time. This police department, the mayor, have trouble with telling the truth around police killings and around police violence. If we would have believed MPD and took them at their word in 2020, George Floyd would have died of a medical incident involving the Minneapolis police. And thankfully, Ms. Frazier was there to film what actually happened, or we would have another killing by the Minneapolis Police Department that went unknown and that got swept under the rug. This instance, I think, really highlights the need. We're hearing from communities that there needs to be safety in our communities, but I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, we're the most policed country in the world. We're the most policed than we've ever been in our lifetime in America now, and we're still continuing to be a more and more unsafe place. And it's about the inability for communities to determine the way in which they're kept safe. And there's a lot of contradictions around these killings and in police violence. And our movements continue to show up, continue to honor the people who have been unjustly killed by the police. I think one thing though, in some of our times of intense struggle, we've focused so heavily on the fact that the police shouldn't kill innocent people, which is 100% true, but the police don't get to kill guilty people either. We've outlawed the death penalty in this state for almost a century, I believe, and so the police don't get to kill guilty people either. And I think we have to look at the style of policing. I mean, you see here the large sort of military vehicle that they rolled up on his house with, and a lot of just like real militaristic, brutal ways in which the police and the sheriffs interact with people in this city. And it's tragic, and it's good to see people out here, bearing witness to what happened here, demanding justice, and there is going to be no one size that fits all to fix police killings, but we have to unite all forces against these brutal police. So I'm just glad to be here. Shout out Unicorn Riot for carrying the video from the people's struggles at all times. I'm just incredibly thankful. If it wasn't for our alternative media in our city, a lot of these crimes by the police would go unanswered and would just slip away from our consciousness. So glad to see Unicorn Riot here, and really glad to be able to share some thoughts.
You want to talk at all? You don't know. I don't want to talk.
Hey, clear this out.
Gotcha.
I feel like that everybody keeps on saying black people are like people saying white people hate black people, but I don't think that at all. I mean, I'm mixed by myself. I like that all people should be treated the same, and racistness is just not. I don't allow it, and I'm never gonna allow it. It's not fun to do that, and I think that everybody should be treated equal, even though we are different colors. We should still be treated the same way. We still are people. We're all people.
Beautiful. Thank you, young man. Appreciate that. You good? Appreciate that. That's very nice.
Hey, just go on here.
It's gonna happen. This summer's gonna be some shit. You can believe that. It's gonna be more intense than what it's gonna be the most intense. I'm gonna say it like this, cause gonna say it like this, bro. You already know how all summer's been. This one right here, this is gonna take the cake right here, bro. This summer. Because it's already almost estimated to half of what it was this summer. And the summer before, this shit done.
And think about it, it just started. Soon as
So we're going to cross the street again. We heard from a couple of community members who, a couple apologized to the young man, didn't want to be videoed, and I videoed him briefly. Very beautiful words about anti-racism though. We saw the police, the feds starting to move some of these cones and replacing the cones with markers. So this is still a very active scene where investigations are now occurring. Or have been occurring for multiple hours, obviously. Squeeze by you again. Thank you, thank you.
Always.
It's like they're bringing some sort of big light, or, yeah, looks like a light of some sort. So again, we'll give you another summary of what's happening. So again, we're here on the north side of Minneapolis, off of Dupont and Dowling Avenue. This is Nico from Unicorn Ride. Thank you all for joining. Thanks, Chris, for running the back end. We have assortment of maybe about 10 community members off in the corner, maybe up to 20, 25 total. There's been several press here. Earlier situation today, what happened was supposedly there was a standoff ongoing since earlier this morning. Federal agents pulled up into armored vehicles, one in the front, one in the back, also with a Suburban in the front. The person who they were trying to get, or the suspect that they were after, or the person who had barricaded themselves inside, came out evidently with a shotgun, evidently filmed it all, live streamed some sort. From there, so this was the house that the federal agents were in, or that they shot him in front of, right in front of here where that person is standing. This is where the person sort of came out, supposedly armed with a shotgun, with also a potentially his girlfriend or partner or a friend of sort, or somebody who is a woman, who's an indigenous woman, who her family is now looking for because the police sort of have her, and people do not know where she is. She was evidently not shot. Kevin Yang is supposedly the victim here, and he was shot and killed. You can see some of the blood splattered on the stairs. There's a lot more to the story that we do not know and do not have verification of specifically yet, but we will continue to update our story at unicornride.ninja. Benjamin Bump, who is the independent media person here in Minneapolis area, filmed the shooting from about 20 feet beyond those sheriffs, and filmed the federal agents shoot 3 shots at the gentleman, at the person who is now deceased, and saw them perform CPR, try to revive the person after they killed him. Supposedly underneath this tent is evidence collected from the house. Unsure what that evidence specifically is. Evidently, the man was armed with a shotgun and came out of the house with that shotgun. So that's basically the scene here. You have a sort of a joint task force, as you heard the community member talking earlier about why these federal task forces are sort of an issue because federal agents do not wear body cameras. And we have this joint sort of task force that took over this situation. You got the Hennepin County Special Operations Sheriff's truck. You got federal agents, and then Minneapolis police, all working in tandem. Reminiscent of the Winston Smith killing, it was Hennepin County sheriffs that were along with federal agents. We do not know if this was part of U.S. Marshals Task Force as that was, but expect not to get the answers that we as a community, or that the community is sort of always been looking for. Sort of expect not to have transparency because it is the feds. Expect not to have the killers' names be told unless they mistakenly unredact them like they did in the BCA report with Winston Smith. So those are some of the things that we're sort of anticipating, that we might not know all the things that happened. The investigation will take several months to a year probably, and then we'll get some answers from the police side or the authority side of investigating what they say happened. And then we also have, evidently, the other evidence from Kevin Yang videotaping himself. So that's the situation here on the north side of Minneapolis. We have other police that are still here maneuvering around. We have sheriffs, and most of the bystanders have left at this point. We're going to bring the stream down in a moment. I'm going to check a few things. Thank you all again for tuning in. Unicorn Riot's been around for 8 years, and we've only been around for 8 years because of you. So help us continue to be around if you can. Get there. So again, those are federal agents doing investigatory work. So again, this is the north side of Minneapolis, Dupont and Dowling, off of Dupont and Dowling, it's 3700 block of Dowling, of Dupont, that this federal agent is standing in front of. That's the house that the suspect, I believe, his name was Kevin Yang, was killed by federal agents earlier today, maybe about 6 hours ago by now. So, again, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Unicorn Riot on the back end. We're probably going to take the stream down in a few moments. I'll do an outro now. Another state-sanctioned murder sort of happened. Not sort of. Another state-sanctioned murder happened. Extenuating circumstances mean that a young man, evidently by the name of Kevin Yang, was in a standoff with police for several hours, starting earlier this morning. Came out of that house, the gray house, where the armored truck is, armed, evidently, reportedly, allegedly, with a shotgun. Filmed all of this, evidently. I have not seen it on Facebook Live or some other social media platform. And from there, when he came out, the police killed him. Excuse me, not the police, the federal agents killed him. So Minneapolis FBI field office of FBI agents killed a young man today, about 6 hours ago, here on the north side of Minneapolis. Here's some feds talking right here. Hennepin County sheriffs are sort of here as well on the scene and providing security for the feds who are doing their investigation now. How you doing? Yeah, the gray one. Yeah. one last time. Thank you. All right, well, that's about it. Thank you all for joining. Again, this is Nico from Unicorn Riot. Thank you, Chris, Alex, D, or Dan, everybody else who helped on the back end. We got a story up, unicornriot.ninja. Check out the website. Again, as I was saying earlier, we have a young man who was murdered by federal agents today. There were extenuating circumstances, potentially other situations, there was other circumstances that led to his killing that we do not have specific verification of right now in the field that I cannot report, but we do know for sure that the person evidently video recorded some of the situation that happened. The feds have admitted to shooting and killing the young man. Minneapolis police has said that it was federal agents that committed the killing. As noted earlier, last time federal agents killed somebody in Minneapolis was Winston Smith. We were not basically informed of, the community was not given a lot of transparency around the killing, and they would not announce the killer's names. Those were announced through a story, through unicornriot.ninja, through unredacted BCA report. BCA is the Minnesota Bureau of Apprehension. So we'll see who this gets handed off to. I think the last federal investigation was handed off to Crow County. We'll see who this one gets handed off to. There will be an investigation that will happen and occur most likely within a year or so, and we will know more information as things start to unravel. There's going to be more statements that will be made by the feds and by other authority figures, I'm sure of, and so we'll continue to monitor that. And you all, thank you for tuning in. Again, this is Unicorn Riot. We are only able to do this from your support. We are a nonprofit independent media organization. We're going over 8 years now, so thank you all. We have an 8-year fundraiser going on. We're trying to get $18,000 that'll help us equip ourselves with a little bit more to move forward continuously in this nonprofit media world, or in this media landscape that's continuing to crumble. So thank you all for tuning in. Supports. There's also, King Demetrius was on the ground earlier streaming. Benjamin Bump, who was the independent streamer that was streaming earlier he caught the video of the officers firing the shots. I think we have that embedded in our article as well. So check that out. We got an interview with Benjamin Bump coming up. We've already filmed it. We will have it up probably within a few hours tonight. So continue to check out our social media feeds, as well as our website, unicornriot.ninja, and the article related to this incident on unicornriot.ninja. Check out Twitter, YouTube, Vimeo, Mastodon, we're on Blue Sky now, a few other places as well, Instagram, TikTok. Continue to follow us. We have a link tree, Unicorn Riot. You can find find most of our links on that link tree, and just continue to follow us. Again, young man was murdered by federal agents on the north side of Minneapolis today. This is the scene. It's unraveling. Investigations are happening. There is 5 people left on the street, and Hennepin County sheriffs are guarding the scene. So again, thank you all for tuning in. We'll call it a night for now. Continue to follow Unicorn Riot and other independent media. You all take care.